You're watching Oregon-owned Oregon's Fox.
Straight ahead on Oregon's News at 10, a major breakthrough in Lane County today as healthcare workers here get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Plus, gym owners and supporters want those facilities to be reopened, stressing it should be safe enough to do so. And the Christmas travel rush is not nearly as busy as it once was, but airports in the Northwest and across the country are seeing small upticks in the number of people hopping aboard planes.
You're watching Oregon's News at 10 on locally owned Oregon's Fox.
A major breakthrough in Lane County today as healthcare workers here get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The first shots administered at McKenzie-Willamette Hospital early this morning. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Jacqueline Fernandez. Dane Wormlinger is off this evening. The Pfizer coronavirus vaccine continues to roll out across the state tonight, and tens of thousands of doses of the Moderna COVID vaccine are expected to arrive in the coming days. Billy Floyd with more details tonight as Lane County begins vaccinating frontline health workers.
It was a historic day in Western Oregon. Lane County frontline healthcare workers, first at McKenzie-Willamette and later at Riverbend, received the first dose of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine.
We are really hopeful that this means we can see the end of this thing, hopefully by the end of the coming year. This, I think, will be a much more powerful tool in the toolkit than masks and social distancing and hand washing have been.
Vaccinations began at 7 a.m. Monday at McKenzie-Willamette Medical Center. Healthcare workers described the process as simple.
I would say that was even easier than the influenza shot, so that was well tolerated and feel great, excited to have it.
Frontline workers at Riverbend, who were vaccinated at 9 a.m. Monday, are feeling extremely confident in the vaccine.
I hope we send out a positive message to people and encourage people to take the vaccine. That's the main reason I'm here, taking the vaccine first. Just to tell people it's safe, and it's important that we all take it, just not for personal protection, but also for public health.
All doctors and healthcare personnel in Lane County will continue getting vaccinated, as roughly 1,000 doses are expected to arrive at each hospital through December 29th.
We don't have control over how quickly it gets to us, just how quickly we get it into arms once it gets here. So as much as we can get, we'll take and we'll vaccinate.
It's unclear when the general public will have access to the vaccine. Local health departments and hospitals are continuing to work out those details. In Eugene, Billy Floyd.
All right, thanks for that report, Billy. McKenzie-Willamette tells us they administered 114 first doses today. Those who get the vaccine will need a second dose about 2 weeks after they receive the first dose. The vaccine is considered effective starting 10 to 14 days after the second dose is received. A $900 billion coronavirus relief package has cleared both in the House and the Senate tonight. Now, lawmakers need President Trump's signature to make it happen. The bill is seen as a lifeline for many Americans taking an economic hit from the pandemic since it started in March. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says the payments could be delivered to Americans starting next week. Let's take a look now at the latest coronavirus numbers tonight. Oregon is reporting 846 new cases today and 6 new deaths. That brings the state total to more than 103,700. The death toll is over 1,300. In our area, Lane County reporting 247 new coronavirus cases over the weekend and 1 new death. Douglas County also experiencing a surge, reporting 27 new COVID cases and 1 new death in the past day. Meanwhile, Coos County reporting 26 new cases over the weekend, including a 6th death tonight, a woman in her 60s. People who use the gyms and owners of gyms want those facilities to be reopened, stressing it should be safe enough to do so. Many showing up at a rally at the Wayne Morse Free Speech Plaza today in downtown Eugene, urging the governor to ease her restrictions on workout facilities. Gym owners say they keep exercise machines and common areas clean around the clock, in addition to mandatory mask wearing for all customers. Members of the rally say gyms are just one of the many businesses hurting because of restrictions. One gym owner we spoke with cited a review from the University of Oregon suggesting gyms may be safer to operate than other businesses like restaurants or bars.
There's another study done in New York that's saying, that gyms are 0.06% for spreading the virus. It is not a generator, and it is now known to be one of the lowest spreading businesses, and we're still not allowed to be open in any capacity.
Freeman is hoping businesses can reopen safely, whether that be by appointment only or by percentage of their membership base being allowed inside at a time. Well, it's no normal Christmas travel rush this year, but airports in Northwest and across the country are seeing small upticks in the number of people hopping aboard planes despite the pandemic. At PDX, officials say they expect almost 250,000 travelers between now and the week after Christmas. That's down about 73% from last year. If you're planning to travel, check to see whether your destination is adding any new restrictions. We'll have more coronavirus coverage for you, but first, let's take a look outside. Skies are now starting to clear after heavy rain and strong winds battered western Oregon today. Now we wait for the colder temperatures to settle into our region. Time now for a first look at your forecast with meteorologist Josh Cozart in the Weather Center. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Jacqueline. I was already out there for my lunch break, and it's starting to get chilly out there, and we have a cold front to thank for that. That's what also brought us those rain showers across much of our region and the gusty conditions. It's now starting to move into the interior sections of our state with drying skies on the backside as we zoom in. Just a few snow flurries falling over the Cascades, a little bit less than what we had anticipated. So that's definitely some good news. We've seen a lot of moisture over the past 48, 72 hours with additional amounts today, close to a little bit more than a ½ inch in the Coos Bay area and Newport regions. Mudslides starting to be a diminishing threat tonight after those gusty conditions along the coast in the I-5 corridor. But drier skies, they return for much of the day tomorrow. I'll let you know how long they last in my full forecast.
Thank you, Josh. President-elect Joe Biden received a COVID-19 vaccine on live television today. The shot was administered at Christiana Hospital in Newark, Delaware by Tabby Mass, a nurse practitioner and the head of employee health services at the hospital. Biden also reassured Americans of the vaccine's safety, saying he got the shot to demonstrate that the vaccine is nothing to worry about. He also warned the vaccine rollout is going to take time, and Americans still need to listen to public health experts, wear a mask, and socially distance. The U.S. reached yet another grim milestone in the pandemic today. There are now more than 18 million coronavirus cases on record. There were a record amount of hospitalizations today as well. 115,000 people were hospitalized due to COVID-19. More than 319,000 people have died so far from the virus. Well, right now, researchers are scrambling to study a new variant of the coronavirus that authorities say could be even more contagious. Darryl Forges with the latest.
Evidence on this virus is it spreads easily, it's more transmissible.
A new, potentially more contagious variant of COVID-19 has triggered Tier 4 lockdowns in London and parts of England, and dozens of nations are now shutting down travel from the United Kingdom.
It's not as though we can stop this getting into other places. There's some there already.
There are a few countries that have reported single cases of this variant.
So, should you be alarmed? Health officials say
it is not any more lethal or any more dangerous than the normal coronavirus.
I am quite confident that this particular strain is not going to be resistant to vaccines.
The nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, says the U.S. should keep an eye on it, but warned we don't want to overreact. This as first shots of the Moderna vaccine hit American arms.
It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt.
All done, doctor.
Now, President-elect Joe Biden has received his first of 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine.
This is just the beginning. It's one thing to get the vaccine out, and now Moderna is going to be on the road as well, but it's going to take time.
I'm Darryl Forges reporting.
Coming up on Oregon's News at 10, a new ice plant up and running in Charleston, but not everyone is happy with the development. We'll explain.
You're watching Oregon's News at 10 on locally owned Oregon's Fox.
Welcome back. The Port of Coos Bay has its new ice plant up and running in Charleston. Our Amanda Slee has an inside look.
The newly built ice plant replaces the plant destroyed by a fire in late December last year. The new ice plant has an increased storage capacity and a higher production rate, both problems with the previous one.
We used to run into situations where we would need to either turn vessels away or else there would be long waiting lines because we were not able to keep up with the demand. And now during peak times, we should have no problem meeting the demand of our fleet.
With new technology and the cost of running the state-of-the-art facility comes new pricing. It will now cost $91 a ton, up from $75.
We're basically at the mean price up and down the coast between the Puget Sound and San Francisco. And at this time, it actually still costs the port more money to make ice per ton than what we sell it for.
The cost of ice comes out of the fisherman's pocket. Some fishermen are having a hard time subsidizing that new price.
The fishing community is not in a good state right now with the pandemic and everything going on. And so to raise it up $91 a ton to be, so much higher than anywhere else. I mean, Hallmark just down the road is $75 a ton.
On top of that, Cutting says he hasn't had the best experience, citing the time he tried to get ice and the machines were having issues.
I think we waited about 6 hours before I finally gave up, and then ended up just waiting until the next day to get ice before I left to go fishing.
While he understands new facilities have kinks, Cutting plans to eventually become self-sufficient when it comes to ice for his boat. And in the meantime, he plans to go elsewhere. Reporting in Charleston, I'm Amanda Slee.
All right, thank you, Amanda. The manufacturer of the machines conducted tests in Charleston just last week. Commercial crab fishermen are on the South Coast and they're still docked there tonight. The commercial Dungeness season is underway, but fishermen have yet to agree on a price with Pacific Seafood. Until then, the fleet remains docked. Dungeness crab is Oregon's most valuable fishery. A former COVID data analyst is suing the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. We'll tell you why. That's coming up.
Look over the downtown Eugene area's skies slowly start to clear. It doesn't last forever, but we'll get a nice little stretch of sunlight. I'll discuss how long that does last and what Christmas might look like next on Oregon's Fox. A time-lapse view of the southern Willamette Valley earlier this evening as we did see a little bit of sunshine, and then that cold front quickly moved in along with those rain showers and some gusty winds. Some of us nearly saw 50-mile-per-hour gusts out along the coast. But now that that cold front's pushed its way on the east side of the Cascades, we're starting to see a bit of a drying trend this evening. So there's that heavy rain pushing its way to the east. Few lingering snow flurries a possibility over the high terrain of the Cascades. But the moon was able to be seen across the Willamette Valley earlier this evening. Now, winter weather advisories remain in effect for far eastern sections of Douglas County. That's going to last into the early morning hours tomorrow, expiring right around 2 a.m. with just a little bit more snowfall anticipated. But those river levels, we've been watching them closely as all the runoff starts to make its way back into the Willamette River. This is a view of Eugene. That's where we're currently seeing that high river levels really at about 15 feet, forecasted to rise up just by a couple of tenths of an inch. That peak is expected on Tuesday. The McKenzie River near Vida, well, that's currently at about 5 feet, falling back by just a couple of tenths of an inch. That will be a trend we continue to see for the rest of this week as the dry skies remain. But we did see temperatures well above average by nearly 10-15 degrees, all thanks to the warm sector of our latest storm. Now all of that's pushing its way further off to the east. Colder air is settling into western Oregon. But with that comes some drier conditions thanks to this high pressure system, so that's something we can look forward to. But it's not going to last forever. Our next rain chance is spinning off over the Pacific Ocean. That will make its way to our area just in time for Christmas Day. So here's our rundown. A few isolated snow flurries still falling over the Cascades, but clearing skies for the majority of the day tomorrow. We will see the return of the sunshine, which will be a nice change of pace for us. And that will also be the same for much of the day on Wednesday, from sunrise to sunset. It's been quite a while since we've been able to see conditions like that, with that snow level dropping down just below the 2,000-foot level, then quickly retreats back up. But you also got to keep in mind that skies will also be clearing. As for the additional rainfall amounts, next to none along the coast of the valleys, just maybe a couple of tenths of an inch possible. Some of those lower lying elevations of the Cascades, with snowfall amounts closing in at nearly 6 inches near Mount Bachelor. Of course, tonight was the Great Conjunction. Unfortunately, not able to see it anymore because it's dipped below the horizon, and the clouds stopped a lot of us from seeing that 400-year event. But here's a snapshot just to the east in Denver, Colorado, where it did happen. I can promise you that, with those daytime highs tomorrow expected to climb into the mid to upper 40s. Eugene Springfield's 7-day forecast keeping us in the 40s through Wednesday. But look at that sunshine. Nice change of pace for us, but then the rain quickly returns just in time for Christmas Day with highs in the upper 40s. Coos Bay 7-day forecast, plenty of sunshine until Thursday. That's when those clouds start to creep their way back in. Rudolph will be working hard Thursday night into Christmas morning as those raindrops continue to fall. And a quick glance at the Umpqua Valley. Sunshine for the next 2 days, but temperatures definitely right where they should be for this time of year, but some cold overnight lows. That's what we have to start to prepare for as we dip below the freezing mark. Not tonight, but we will tomorrow night, and then that will be kind of a rinse and repeat type of scenario for the next several nights.
Definitely, but like you mentioned earlier in the Fox show, was at the 7 p.m., you were saying, you know, we do have rain, we may not see snow, but Santa's still coming regardless, right?
Yes, he can fly in all types of weather phenomena.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Coming up on Oregon's News, outgoing Attorney General William Barr pushes back President Trump's claims of voter fraud today. What else he had to say after the break. Welcome back. President Trump's outgoing Attorney General William Barr pushed back today after President Trump took to Twitter, making unfounded claims of voter fraud once again. Barr is set to leave the Justice Department in just 2 days. When reporters asked him if he thinks a special counsel should be named to investigate voter fraud, he answered no, saying that if he thought it was necessary, he would have done it. William Barr also debunked ideas being pushed by Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell about seizing voting machines and declaring martial law to overturn the election. A former COVID data analyst whose home was raided is suing the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Rebecca Jones says the FDLE violated her First Amendment rights when they took her computers, cell phone, and storage devices on December 7th. According to the search warrant, investigators say Jones accessed a state messaging system without authorization to call on state officials to speak out about COVID deaths, allegations that Jones denies. Jones filed a whistleblower complaint in July. The case is still pending. Next on Oregon's News at 10, you might remember this type of Dorito from back in 1998 or the early 2000s. We'll tell you when they're making a comeback. Welcome back. We'll take a look at this. Now, earlier tonight, we told you about the Christmas star that will be seen in some places in the night sky. Here's some actual footage of the phenomenon from Columbia, Missouri. Tonight, the two largest planets in our solar system, Jupiter and Saturn, are closer together than they have been since the year 1226. This is a super rare occurrence, only happening about once every 20 years. 3D Crunch Doritos are making a comeback after a long break. Frito-Lay is launching the release of the 3-dimension Doritos with 2 flavors, spicy ranch and chili cheese. The cone-shaped puffed tortillas were available in a variety of flavors from 1998 to 2004, and they were featured in Super Bowl ads. The new iteration hits stores December 28th. Do you remember those from back in the day, Josh? Are you a Doritos fan?
Yeah, I feel like I had them. If I remember correctly, they had a bit of consistency of like the, oh gosh, I'm spacing on the name, the little like air puffs that are just flavored cheese.
Ah, okay. Cheese puffs.
Cheese puffs, that's
Yeah.
it. Ah, there we go. Thank you.
It's late here for us. All right, Josh. I'm Jacqueline Fernandez. Join me, along with meteorologist Josh Cozart and Brandon Cameraman with sports. Weeknights on KVAL News at 11. End your day with KVAL News for complete coverage you can count on weeknights at 11.
And start your day with KVAL News at 5 and 6 a.m. for your first look at the day's news and weather. John Mayer will have your latest forecast so you can plan your day ahead. Wake up with news and information you can use. Weekday mornings at 5 and 6 a.m.
Here comes 30 minutes of sports. Oregon Sports Report. Live from the Bigfoot Beverage Studios.
Hello, this is Rob.
Hey, Rob. Surprise, surprise. Mike Neely and Patrick Barkley calling from the Fiesta Bowl.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Rob.
How are you?
We're doing wonderful, and we're smiling and looking forward to having you come for a visit.
Well, we're excited. I mean, obviously, you know that's one of our favorite places to be this time of year. Wish it was under a little different circumstances, but nonetheless, we couldn't be more excited.
Hello and welcome into this edition of Oregon Sports Report. I'm Maria Santora, bringing you 30 minutes of sports coverage tonight. That was the phone call to Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullins confirming the Ducks are headed to the desert to play in the 2021 Fiesta Bowl. 25th ranked Oregon will face 10th ranked Iowa State on Saturday, January 2nd, in the contest's 50th anniversary.
Live from the Bigfoot Beverage Studios, it's Oregon Sports Report.
Week 15 of the NFL season wraps tonight in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh entered tonight with a chance to clinch the NFC North.